In this HubNut video, I make the Lexus do this. Ooh, wheel spinny. I'm such a child. I'm out in my lovely Lexus again, off to pick up the owner of the Proton, which I have sold via the Auto Shop forum, and the lucky owner has never seen the car, and it'd be interesting to see what he thinks of it. Right then, full 0 to 60 sprint in the Lexus. Ooh, wheel spinny. There's definitely a vacuum leak somewhere, that strange wailing noise, which I wonder if that's also responsible for the high idle. I know everyone says, oh, that's just what they do, but that sounds to me like an engine that is sucking in air somewhere. Oh, it was quick though, wasn't it? Blimey. I'll turn it back out of power mode now. I can't afford to drive around in power mode all the time. The wheel spin suggests to me it hasn't got a limited slip diff, so that means not so great for drifting, because obviously that's a thing to do with an enormous car like this. And it means it probably isn't also going to be great for doing burnouts. Some people I've spoken to have said, oh, will it do burnouts, mister? And yeah, it'll do a one Lego burnout, but it's not going to leave a trail of 11s, and that's a bit disappointing. Ooh, that was really rather exciting. I quite enjoyed that. Otherwise, I've discovered that popping the sunroof A, stops the annoying wind noise, and B, stops an annoying trim rattle, which must be in this front part of the sunroof somewhere. I'm going to have a look at that at some point. Other problems with the car, we've got a problem with the electrics in the rear door behind me here. Neither the speaker nor the central locking are operating. The electric window does, I think. Yeah. So some electrics are working back there, but not everything. Also got problems with the heat shields on the silencers, which are kind of underneath my back end, and they can vibrate rather unpleasantly. Not a serious thing, but it doesn't do much for the car, and that's a shame, because I've been loving this car, to be honest. It hasn't left the driveway much yet, but just owning it is a pleasure, and I've done ridiculous things, like I waxed it, and today I hoovered it out to get it all nice and clean. I mean, it's ridiculous having a clean car in rural Wales. It isn't going to stay clean for long. The gearbox I like a lot. I mean, I tend to do a lot of manual control of gearboxes, but I can just leave this one to get on with it. It's generally fine. It's a very nice selector. You can knock it easily across into third. So you come down PRND, but then you go across for third, and then further down for gears below that. You can lock second, and I believe you can lock first as well. I mean, it has to be said, this feels a big car all the time. Driving around city centres, you're aware you can't squeeze through all the gaps, and out on these rural roads, it's not so bad on these fast A roads, but on the B roads it feels a bit too big for driving quickly. So I find I drive slower than I do in the 2CV, just because you want to be sure you can get past whatever's coming the other way. The air conditioning seems to work fairly well. I'm sure it would benefit a regas. To be honest, most of the time I have it turned off. Got the cassette player, which I can listen to thrilling Indian music, or I've got the Thompson Twins on cassette today. It's always worth having a route around at the charity shops. You never know what you'll find. The electric aerial has broken off though, so I can't actually listen to the radio just yet. But a replacement did come with the car, so I'll have to have some fun trying to fit that, I think. Not that I listen to the radio that much, to be honest, just a bit of Ken Bruce when I can. And I haven't owned it long enough to do economy yet, so there's still that to come. But lots of neat little features, like electrically adjustable seatbelt height. I mean, that's quite jolly, isn't it? I've got electrical adjustment for the lumbar support, And I generally like having electric seat controls because it makes it easy to adjust on the move. I tend to get a bit fed up of sitting in exactly the same place, so I will move seats around on long journeys, and it's a lot easier to do when everything's electric. Steering column also electric. Look, there it comes. Whoa. And when you get out of the car, it sucks the steering wheel in and tilts it up, but I'm not sure it brings it back out every time. It seems a bit haphazard in that response. But generally, the condition of this car is bloody lovely for something that's done 156,000 miles and is, let's do the sums, 23 years old. And this is what it's built to do. I mean, normally I'd start getting impatient with slower drivers. Especially if I'm in something that's hoon-worthy, like the 2CV. I've upset many tourists in the 2CV. But in this, if I'm stuck behind someone slow, so be it. I'll just waft and enjoy the economy. So we're back in power mode. Here's the 60 limit. Oh, I could get far too used to that, I think. Oh, it's a lovely smooth power delivery. 260 brake horse in this engine. This is the later higher compression engine, which means that if the cam belt fails, the pistons and valves mash into each other and all is horrible. It's a bit confusing as to what this car is referred to. It's officially a second generation LS400, but some people seem to call them Mark IIIs. It seems the first generation was split into two marks for some people. So this car was built in December 1994 and registered in the UK January 95. Other than that, I know nothing about its history up to a couple of years ago, when it was bought by a friend of mine on the Auto Shop forum, and yeah, it's passed for a few people on that forum, so I've kind of been following its past 2 years, although I'd completely missed that one of said owners had taken it around Knock Hill on a track day, so that must have been interesting, but hey, it still seems to work. Might explain why there's a slight brake judder though, because I imagine a track day works the brakes in one of these very hard. So much weight. But there you go, that's another look at the Lexus. If there's anything you feel we haven't covered, do let me know. It's a bit difficult at the moment. I'm very busy, and I end up trying to make these videos just while I'm driving to other places. I don't always have the time to get out and do a full-on tour. But you saw a bit of the car in my very first video. But yes, as ever, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and you'll always be told when my latest videos are going up. And I shall see you in a future video, maybe about this car, maybe about another car. Farewell. Oh, remember in my first video on the Lexus, I told you all about my sad songs tape? May hint at previous ownership of this vehicle, but I thought that sounded fairly jolly, but then I can't understand the lyrics. If you do understand the lyrics, perhaps you could tell me what that song was about.